So we are going to learn how to create our own digital pop art artwork using Google Slides. So let's get started. So here is an example that I have created for you of what we're going to kind of be doing with Google Slides. So first we have to go over how to do some of these things in Google Slides that you might not know how to do. So the first thing is layering in PowerPoint. So here I have an example. So how are we going to do this? Well, so here in Google Slides, up at the top left, you have all of these images. We're going to look for the shapes. You click on it, and there are different shapes that you can do. And then you just click, and then you left click and drag, and it creates a box, and it creates the shape that you picked. Now, if you go back up to the top, remember, the top left has all of the tools you'll need. We can fill in a color. I can do blue. So here I have a circle, and I layered on top of what was already there. So I could do another shape. Let's do an arrow. And I could even turn the arrow to go on top of the shape I had done and use a different color. So the next thing is text in PowerPoint. Same as we see in Word documents or in Google Docs. You type something out, you highlight it, then we come up here to about the middle of our toolbar, and it says Arial, and you get to pick a font, and you can also pick the size that you have. If you want to go even further, you can pick a color. Shapes in PowerPoint, kind of the same deal with layout. Remember, we can go into our shapes. Now, remember in pop art, it was a lot of big shapes, bright shapes, shapes that everyone knew. So a lot of arrows, a lot of explosion looking shapes. And so here we can actually have arrows, but we also have these call outs. And in these call outs, we get a lot of those fun shapes that we see in pop art, like stars and things in the background that look like they are exploding, kind of like fireworks. The next thing is speech bubbles. So in those shapes, you can also have in the callouts some speech bubbles. They're down below. And remember, there's a lot of words in pop art. And so the speech bubbles we see in comic books, we see in artworks like with Andy Warhol, and you could add text in your speech bubble. So how do we do that? Well, I put my speech bubble down. Maybe I want to have like a nice bright background. And so I'm going to add a color. And then I want to add a text. So how do I do that? Well, I go back up to my toolbar and I look for my T. It says text box. Come over, left click and drag, and now I can type. I can make it bigger. I can change the font and add a bunch of different things that I've already learned how to do. Flares you can do by adding lines and different things. You could also go onto Google Images and pick an image that has this in the background. I'm not going to go over that one. You should know how to insert a picture. We've been doing that on Schoology for a while. If you would like to show me, or if you would like me to show you, you need to contact me and we can go over it individually. Or we can break out into a breakout room to do so. And stars, we see those a lot. Remember, those are in your shapes. And then I have a bunch of pop art words for you that you can pick from. You can use your own, but here are some for you. Remember, we're doing a lot of onomatopoeia words, sound words. And so crack, kaboom, crash. Think of a word that's going to inspire you. So here is one that I've done. It's ouch. I've made an exclamation point. I've used all the things I've talked about. So what you're going to do, here are your instructions. 1, create a new slideshow down below. So remember, to create a new slide, you do the plus button. And then it's saying, number 2, title the slide with your name. And then you're going to create your own digital pop art work. So remember, name, and then you get to start designing. If you have any questions, remember to raise a hand. You can message me privately in the chat bar. Talk amongst yourselves. I am here if you need me.